Guys, Bitcoin looks like it could be in a huge disaster right now, or at the very edge of it. And I want to break this down for you in full in today's video. You know, one of the key things that I was looking for in the previous video was for Bitcoin to be able to find support in this box. And we did find support. If we zoom in a little bit more, you can see that Bitcoin found a little bit of support right here, but we just couldn't get a bounce up, and it's now dipping below this level. And this is the key area of support that I was outlining for you all in the previous video at $47,000, right here between kind of 47.3 and 47.8, and we have managed to fail this area. But the problem here is that not only did we fail this area, but look at the volume. You can see the volume really starting to peak up a little bit with this price action right here, potentially indicating that the market is confirming this bearish direction. And I think even more importantly, this area, this green box, was support, and so it's got to be resistance, right? And that I think can be very, very problematic for Bitcoin right now, is if it manages to trade down below this level for a little bit longer. And we literally just got this breakout. I mean, if you look at this on the 5-minute time frame, literally just got this breakout in the last like 10-15 minutes. But you know, if this does stick, and it might not, but if it does stick, well, we could be looking at this area becoming resistance. And I mean, the last time that this area was acting as resistance, the market was getting quite a few rejections off this area, sending it lower. Now, you know, broadly speaking, we were able to punch above it, but I don't know how we're going to have that same level of strength again this time, because really what we've done here, and this is the key thing that I want you guys to keep in mind, is that, you know, I was covering for you all in the last video that I thought Bitcoin had some key hidden signs of strength, but it's failed a lot of them, you know, and this is where I'm saying that we're on the edge of a disaster, right? We're not actually there yet, but the key thing to keep in mind right now is look at this right here. We had support from the Ichimoku. Glad it wasn't big, but we did have support, and we failed it. You know, we had support from the 4-hour EMA ribbon. It wasn't big, but we failed it, and it's now flipped into resistance. And so all of these things not looking particularly great for Bitcoin just in this short term. But what I find really concerning is just that if Bitcoin does actually convincingly drop below this box, and again, you're going to know this when you watch the video, but right now we've already had the breakout. Sure, we're climbing our way back up a little bit, but now we have to rise above pretty much like $47,800 in order to, you know, prove that this is not new resistance in the market right now. And if that is the case, we might have to continue rallying higher. Then we would be able to continue rallying higher. But if we don't manage to do that, well, here's the thing: is between this range, you know, if you lose an area of support, naturally you need to fall down to the next area of support. But the problem here is that there is no area of support. You could, you know, be a little bit. I mean, this is a little bit of a desperate conclusion here, in my opinion. But you could say that there's support at the 46K range, and there is. It's light support at the 46K range. This is where Bitcoin was bouncing off previously, but really the key level that I'm going to be looking at is bam, right here at 44, and another one right here at 42, just roughly around these kind of price levels. Maybe just drag this line a little bit lower, because this is roughly where Bitcoin managed to get a bounce from when it had the big dump, and that means that Bitcoin could be in for another really big drop. I mean, from our current price dropping by about 6% from the top of this range to the 44K range, we're looking at a 7.5% or maybe even 11% drop, which would not be nice. But even worse than all of that, you know, this would effectively mean that Bitcoin has finally managed to get that relief rally I was looking for. Now, you guys know about this very, very clearly, that on this YouTube channel, I was expecting Bitcoin to form a meaningful bullish rally for the first time in quite a while, and we did do exactly that, right? If you measure this from the low to the high that Bitcoin managed to set, that is a 14% pump to the upside. And I know it's not absolutely huge, but it's bigger than every pump we saw before, you know, like 8% pump, 7% pump. You know, this is quite a lot larger. It's about double the size of those moves, and that could be enough to you know, kind of cool down the market so that we can trend down again. And again, the key problem that I'm seeing there is that this does mean that, yeah, I mean, we you know, I was expecting us to rise a little bit higher into this resistance range, but at the end of the day, I was expecting resistance in this range. And those of you who have been smashing up those likes and subscribe to this YouTube channel, you're gonna know all about that. So thank you to those of you who have been tuning into this YouTube channel, because this wouldn't be taking you by surprise if that was the case. Now, like I said, I wanted us to rise a little bit higher. We didn't quite get to do that, you know, because I was looking to enter my short positions. I was so close to entering a short position. It was literally like $600 away from my entry at the highest point. But I didn't quite get lucky enough for it. And right now, the key problem I'm seeing here is that this could have been the kind of, reaction rally, the relief rally that we needed. Again, if you look at the fear and greed index, we could see quite clearly that, we were staying in, pretty close to neutral levels, right? I was expecting we could rise a little bit more, but it's now just dropping right back down. And again, the thing is we haven't tapped into that disaster yet, right? Like, it hasn't actually happened yet. I mean, we would have to drop kind of, a little bit lower, maybe kind of below $46,000. We'd have to swing below these lows in order to really be in a bad place. But the point is I mean, now the recovery is just going to be so difficult that I think this might become quite problematic. But one coin which actually is performing really well in the face of all of this, and I got to talk about it on this video, is VPAD. This is the coin that I was talking to you guys about that's been launched by CryptoMo and Crypto. I'm sure many of you guys know about them too. And they are fairly large YouTubers in the space, especially Crypto. And this is a coin which they've launched, which is basically, I don't want to say it incorrectly, but in short, in a very simple term, this is something which people are holding in order to gain access to other investment opportunities. That's probably the key benefit to holding it, in my opinion. There's a lot of other things, but that's the main one. And this is something that I was personally invested in. I just want to show you this chart because the last time I was talking about this coin, it was trading down here, and you can just see that in the face of all of this adversity, I mean, this coin just doesn't give a fuck, and it is rallying high really, really nicely. And there's a few key characteristics that I want to point out to you on this chart for where this coin could be going. Now, first of all, it's worth noting that I think this price action is ridiculous. I think it's going way too quickly, way too extremely, and so actually the first real thing I want to talk about is this $1.15 area right here where I've drawn this yellow line. I think that this might turn into a crucial area of support for this coin. Now, realistically, I wouldn't want to see it drop down this low because that's going to be roughly a 40 to 50% crash. But broadly speaking, this is still a small coin, and it has acted very irrationally in terms of this rise up. I mean, it's moved up really quickly. I was telling you guys I was expecting us to rise above $1, and this speculative target up at $1.50 that everyone was looking at was a potential target for VPAD right here, but it's just shot past it. And the key thing is yeah, like I said before, it's got some certain characteristics, and one of them is this ascending triangle. I'll get back to Bitcoin in just a second, but this is very important in my opinion because this is a key investment that I've made. Many of you guys know about it, and it actually ties in with 𝗏𝗧 because these are two coins which I've made the decision to invest in pretty much at the same time for the same reasons, right? I don't really care too much what these coins do. What I care more about is the fundamentals, so to speak. Do I think these coins can rise up, and more importantly, do I think they'll outperform Bitcoin? Because at the end of the day, I don't care about any of these crypto coins. I just want to accumulate more Bitcoin. And the key thing with 𝗏𝗧, for example, is, again, this is another project backed by influencers. You've got a bunch of YouTubers like myself, but also, I mean, Carl the Moon, the main guy, all of you know Carl, he is one of the founders of this project, right? Same with VPAD. These are coins which are blowing up because there's so much influencer hype behind them, and that's why we're seeing this kind of price action. And one of the key characteristics we've seen right here is this kind of ascending triangle setup that looks a little bit like this. And the key thing you can do with these ascending triangles is actually measure the height of the ascending triangle just like this, which is basically another word for it would be the flagpole. And then you can extrapolate that to the breakout point and give yourselves a speculative target for where this coin might be going. And we are looking at a $2.25 target. The last time I did this kind of line, it put us at a $1.50 target, and we massively flew past it. So just with this short-term trend, it still looks incredibly bullish. But of course, when we apply a little bit more common sense, it's massively overextended, and the key problem here is that if it does start dropping down now, it will have support at roughly $1.95. I'm sure this just rough area where we formed the ascending triangle, but if we drop below this $1.80 area, there's a big drop coming down to potentially $1.30, and this was the next area of key consolidation in the chart. And below that, I'd be looking at $1.15. I would be surprised if we drop below $1.15, but for now, that's where we're sitting at, and I wanted to bring this highlight this on your radar. Like I said, I was telling you guys about this before the project launched, expecting it to do very, very well, and I'm super happy with it. Don't get me wrong, I know I sound upset about it. The key thing for me is, look, I want my investments to be moving in healthy ways. This right now looks like it could be quite dangerous, but if it does drop down to these levels, no doubt I will be buying more. And 𝗏𝗧, they're actually launching on Bybit, so keep an eye on this, guys. They're not actually launched, they haven't actually launched yet, but When they do, it will be on Bybit, and it is a big deal, so go ahead and check that out. And if you do want to trade on Bybit, you want to buy 𝗪𝗓, because I'm expecting it to print a similar chart to this. If you want to buy 𝗪𝗓 as well, you can do that on Bybit with my link in the description down below. When you use that link, you can when you sign up using that link and make your first Bitcoin deposit, you're going to get up to $4,100 for free, just as a bonus for using my link to sign up. So that's free cash that you're getting, and it's the exchange that you can buy 𝗪𝗓 on. If you want to buy 𝗬𝗢𝗥𝗙𝗏, it's on Phemex as well. Like I said, I mean, this is not the time to be touching it too much in my opinion right now. I'm just kind of sitting back and watching it. I have taken a little bit of profit already because it's just ridiculously explosive price action, and then I would be an idiot if I wasn't actually taking profits right now in my opinion. But they do look very exciting, so keep an eye on these two projects, guys. I'm very bullish on them. And just coming back to Bitcoin for just a second, what I find very impressive is that they're holding up quite well in the face of Bitcoin, right? The rest of the altcoins, you know, they're not doing as well. Ethereum against Bitcoin kind of starting to level off and looking like it's going to drop a little bit. You know, it's already managed to peak quite high at the 0.085 BTC per Ethereum token value, and then it managed to set a low just around where it's trading right now at 0.079. It then got a bounce, and now it's consolidating at that same low. So this is one of the clearest signs ever that it's going to drop down. I mean, it very well could still find support, but typically a pattern like this is going to break down, indicating that it's going to lose strength against Bitcoin. We're seeing this with, for example, Cardano as well. With this key area that I had drawn on the chart for quite some time, Cardano, it's the same thing, right? What I just described with Ethereum, Cardano did it right here. Take a look at this, right? It was this area of support. Cardano fell down to it and bounced off. Then it came down again, and it was just consolidating, and that's when it dipped below. And then you can see when we attacked it again, because it was support before, it turned into resistance then, and resistance again just now, as recently as yesterday. And so, you know, we're looking at a place of weakness for the altcoin market, in my opinion, just now. We are at resistance levels, and of course that means that if Bitcoin is going to drop, these altcoins might drop even harder. That's even more reason for why I'm surprised that a coin like 𝗬𝗢𝗥𝗙𝗏 is doing so well. But honestly, I mean, I say I'm surprised as though I can't figure out why. Like, it's pretty obvious why this coin is doing well, and it's primarily because there's just so much hype behind it. These projects, guys, they get so many eyeballs, they get so many people excited for them. You've got so many people talking about it in the space, and because it's still relatively small, and it is still relatively small, you know, these coins are just able to pick up traction so quickly. And again, I mean, that's why I was so bullish on 𝗬𝗢𝗥𝗏 before it launched. I practically knew this would happen. It was fairly obvious, and I'm saying the same thing about 𝗪𝗪 right now. So definitely check these guys out, because I am looking for similar moves on that coin right there as well. And then, yeah, just moving it back to Bitcoin right now, though, with this analysis, the key thing that I want to highlight for you all is really the possibility of that drop down to the 44 to 42k area. And like I said, I think this would mean that we have to sweep these prior lows right here, but we've already done quite a bit of that. You know, I would have liked to see the trend cool off a little bit. This was quite an aggressive sell-off, and you know, that's usually not sustainable. And so hopefully we can start to attack this area. And if it turns into resistance, I think honestly that would be the death sign right there. That would be the final nail in the coffin, as if the market kind of cools off below this level for a little while and then comes back up to attack it as resistance. That's where I think it could get very nasty for Bitcoin right here to potentially be dropping a little bit lower. And the key thing that I'm hoping for, if we do drop lower, honestly, is just to find a double bottom. I would love to see Bitcoin find a double bottom at this $42,000 area and then keep on rallying higher. It really doesn't look too good if Bitcoin hangs around these levels, to be quite honest with you guys, but if we do manage to, I'm sorry about these notifications, if we do manage to you know, kind of drop all the way down, the key thing is there's a lot of support here, and below this level there isn't much support until we go down to $30,000, you know. So like I said, when we lose one area of support, we need to fall down to the next one. That's just naturally what happens. And the support doesn't have to be horizontal levels. I mean, it can be a moving average, it can be an Ichimoku cloud, but the problem is there's nothing. There is only horizontal support down until $30,000. So it could be quite a nasty drop if we do manage to fall below 40,000. Hopefully it doesn't happen, but if it does, you guys are at least going to be mentally prepared for that kind of situation. And if we look at this on the daily time frame now, just with the EMA ribbon, it looks like a very clear rejection for Bitcoin off this EMA ribbon, you know, with quite a harsh sell-off right now. So yeah, definitely not looking super good. The other thing though that I just want to remind you guys about though is, and it does look like, yeah, Bitcoin has now set that double top pretty convincingly as well. So a lot of key things really falling into place right now with this, but I think one of the important things to keep in mind just for the minute is that if Bitcoin does manage to you know, swing back up to these highs, I think it's going to be quite easy for Bitcoin to break these resistance levels now, right? I mean, these kind of double top patterns, they can be broken with relative ease if Bitcoin manages to find support around here. And that's why I'm saying that we're on the edge of the disaster. It hasn't quite happened yet. It's still recoverable. It's just not looking good, right? I mean, there's not a single indicator that I use giving Bitcoin support in this range. So it's going to have to be something special that comes along and saves Bitcoin, but it's still definitely possible because we haven't fallen below that prior swing low just yet. So that to me would be the point of no return. Until and unless we do that, I'm going to remain very cautiously optimistic and keep an open mind with what I'm seeing with this trend right now. With that though, I am going to have to wrap up this video. Again, a relatively short one. Once more, if you do want to trade on Bybit, which is the only exchange that I use, you can do that by signing up using the link in the description down below. You're going to get up to $4,100 for free when you use my referral link in the description down below. And like I said, this is the one of the first exchanges that are going to be holding the 𝗪𝗪 tokens. So many reasons to be on this exchange, other than the fact that it's just super secure and reliable in my experience. I've been working with them for years and absolutely love it. And of course, if you already have an account but you didn't manage to get the free money, you can make a new one in order to make another deposit and get that free cash and then trade with it and do whatever you like. And if you do want to jump inside of my VIP group, unfortunately I don't have the picture here, but it is the first link in the description down below, where you can follow those steps to join 𝗪𝗪 VIP, and we'll get you in by the end of the day and set you up for a very strong start for your trading career in 2022. All right, guys, I hope you have enjoyed this video. The markets have been very dry, so I haven't been uploading as much as I want to, but if you have suggestions for me and there's a certain video, a certain coin that you want me to cover, for example, maybe a certain topic, do me a favor and drop it down in the comments below. But other than that, I hope you're all having a great time, and I'll see you all in the very next video. Make sure to hit up those likes, subscribe, tick the bell, and I'm out. Bye-bye.